Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing 1830. But before I start, I just gotta tell you that I had a horrible day. I had bad pain on my teeth this morning. So first I thought it was the flesh, and I bought something to disinfect this, but yeah, it turned out it didn't get better, and I had really heavy pain. So I went to the dentist, and basically what he did is he gave me some, I don't know, some medicine to that the flesh heals better and stuff like that. But okay, so I went home again, and it just didn't get better. Actually, it got worse and worse, and I had horrible pain. So then in the evening, when every dentist was already closed, I had to go to the dentist again, to the emergency dentist. And they found out that 2 of my teeth were actually dead. And I really wonder why my first dentist didn't find that. So yeah, that means now he had to do these kind of root, had to clean the root and all that shit, and had to open the teeth and all. Anyway, but now the pain is gone, which is a good thing, and we can continue our playthrough. And I can just say I'm glad we have health insurance here in Germany. Okay, anyway, so let's kick it off. We've seen the first stock round and also the first operating round. The pen right here, the C&O and the B&O got floated, and now we come to the next stock round. This guy up here has the priority deal. Nobody has really a lot of money, and therefore they cannot buy any shares. So he's gonna pass. This guy, however, he thinks that the B&O is better than the pen. So what he does is he sells his share from the pen into the bank pool. And he gets $82 out of it. Okay, let's see. And then he's going to buy another B&O. And by the way, if you sell a share into the bank pool, for every 10% you sell, the stock value drops by 1 space. And it's important that this doesn't happen one after another. For example, if I would sell 3, I would get my full money, so I would get 3 times 82. And then after that transaction, it would fall by 3 spaces. Okay, so I'm going to buy a B&O. Okay. Oh, shit. And because I buy it from the initial offer, I don't have to pay the stock value, but I have to pay the par price, which is 100. But I think that's worth it. I think that the B&O will generate much more money in the beginning compared to the pen. Now what about this guy? He might actually consider the same. There are only 2 left here. So, well, you could sell 1 pen and buy also 1 B&O. Question is if I want to do it. But now the pen is only worth 76. So, I don't think so, actually. No, I think I don't. I want to hold on to that thing. Okay. So I guess we're going to go then to the operating round. And he's the first one to pass, so he gets the priority deal. And from then on, everyone will pass. So the B&O has the highest stock value, therefore we can lay track. Question is, do I want to go here? Maybe that's a better idea. Or do I want to go here? Here would take me one more turn until I can connect to this. But this will give me more money. And I can then try to go to New York, for example, but it's hard to get there. However, what? I don't know, maybe. Let me see what the green New York tile is. Would be that one. So we could place that like this and then come from that side here. Okay. So I'm going to place a tile here. So I got to pay 80 bucks. From the corporation's treasury. Already 40% are gone, that's quite a bit. But anyway. And now we could lay a token, and I think I want to do that. You know, I'm the type of guy who says, hey, I'm a pretty aggressive player. This guy, I already told you that we did these kind of, or I did these kind of personality generation, and he is the most aggressive guy. So he wants to get as much money as possible, and that means he's going to pay another 40 bucks to lay that token. It's a little tricky because if he does so, he only has one token left, and there's always a danger to be blocked or cut off if you don't have enough tokens. But he says, hey, you know, I better make some money now and I don't care what happens later. So I'm going to place my token here. And now we can run our trains. We got 2 trains. And we haven't done that yet. So I'm going to tell you how that works. So the 2 trains means that 2 stations are connected. With a 3 train, I already said that in the last video, 3 stations are connected and so on. One of the stations has to be, or not stations, cities or towns. It's not stations, it's cities or towns. So 2 towns are connected, or 3 or whatever. One of these cities on your route has to contain one of your stations. So like that. In addition, you cannot go through an enemy station. You can stop in the station of the enemy or you can start there, but you cannot go through. So now let's see how much money we make. We have 3 trains and we can run 3 routes. And by the way, what is very important, you can only use every part of track once during each operating round for a specific corporation. Another corporation can use the same part too, but you cannot go with 2 trains on the same track. And you're also not allowed to use the same train to stop in a city twice. So, for example, like a loop or something, that would not be allowed. However, you can use a city twice. For example, we're going to do that now. We're going to go with one train from here to here. Now this gives us 30 bucks and that gives us 10. So this run gives us 40. Then we're going to use another train to go from here to here. That gives us another 50. So we're at 90. And finally, we can go from here into the deep south. And at the beginning, we take these upper left numbers here. So that's another 50. So right now we make 140, which is a pretty strong run for the beginning. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So 140. And now we can decide if we want to keep the money in the treasury. So we would get 140 bucks in the treasury, but then the stock value will drop 1 to the left. Or the other decision is to say, hey, we're going to pay out a dividend. And that means every shareholder gets his part of the money. So he holds 40%. So he would get 4 times 14. He holds also 40%, so it's the same for him. And in this case, because the last 20%, because these are sitting in the initial offer, they are lost. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, to save us a lot of calculations, I have this kind of a table here which shows me exactly how much money each shareholder gets for each run. So we had 140 run. So if you have 4 shares, it's 56. I'm just too lazy for all these calculations. So that's quite a bit of money. Okay. There we are. Cool. And now the stock price goes up 1 space to the right because we paid out a dividend. Fine. So then it's the Pennsylvania Railroad. Oh, actually, I could now buy another train. Question is, do I want to do that? And well, hard to tell. I mean, on the one hand, it is tempting because if I buy the first 3 train, an additional feature is unlocked. I could then use the green tiles. And they give me more money. I could upgrade then these cities here, make them green, and that would give me more money. That kind of represents the growth of the cities. So that sounds like it's not a bad idea. And another thing that I forgot to mention, we have now a train limit of 4. So each corporation can exactly have 4 trains, so I would be allowed to buy another train. However, I wonder if the train limit goes down. No, it doesn't. Huh. So it might be actually a good idea to buy another 3 train. It's important to keep in mind that when the first 4 train is purchased, all the 2 trains that we have here become obsolete and we have to discard them. So now these are good money makers, these 2 trains, because I go all these short routes here. But later in the game, they might not be. I'm gonna lose them, and the more of these, the faster these 3 trains go away, the sooner I'm gonna lose these guys. So it's not exactly in my interest to make them go away. However, I could make more money. So I really wonder if I should do it or not. And I feel like I want to, because as I said, this is an aggressive guy. So we're going to roll a die on a 1 to 4. I will actually buy a 3 train. And I will do that. Wow. Okay. This is pretty hefty. The next train would be 300. The 4 train. So I would have enough money left to buy me a wait a minute, the 3 train costs me 180. So yeah, I get 320 back. So I have just enough money left to buy me one of these 4 trains if these 2 trains become obsolete. But if I want to buy more trains, then I would have to swallow, and I could not pay off my dividend because I would need more money in the treasury. But for now it's okay. So I have now the first 3 train. And as I said, that will change now the game a bit. Now the green tiles are available. And the green tiles can be basically placed upon the yellow tiles. So they can be the yellow tiles can be upgraded, and then they are removed and become available again for later placement. So it's still the same thing. The yellow tiles can be placed on these bright green hexes, and the green tiles can be placed on the yellow hexes, which includes these yellow bordered hexes here, and also New York and Boston. So they can be now also all upgraded, and that gives more money, which is pretty cool. And you can do this tile placement, this is upgrade, simply instead of your standard tile placement. Then it says, after the next stock market round, begin 2 operating rounds between stock market round, and the private companies may be sold to railroads. Which brings me to the point that I forget to operate the private companies. So that means, and I really tend to forget that fairly often. So that means that these guys all get their revenue from the privates. So it's the pen now. And they're simply going to lay a track. I mean, they could. That's kind of interesting. They could try to work together with the B&O. If they lay a curve in here and then upgrade this, they could also make money and they could make more money than if they go here. So that might be in their interest. And yeah, as I said, maybe we can kind of work together here. On the other hand, if I take a look at my personality sheet here, this is not the guy who's very true to his word. But anyway, I think it makes sense for now. So I'm gonna lay track like this. And in this way, yeah, as I said, we could work together. I mean, this guy could maybe cut me off somehow. Yeah, he can definitely do that if he wants to hurt me. He could upgrade it by himself and place a tile which makes it impossible for me to go there. I don't know, maybe something, that one wouldn't work. But what about this, for example? That's hard to tell. It's not that easy because he cannot place it in a way that it goes off map. So, well, it's not that easy. Yeah, he could, for example, place a tile like this, right? And then I would be cut off here, which kind of sucks. But, yeah, as I said, he can also profit from it because he can also use the track. So it's probably in both our interest to kind of build that track together. Okay, so I'm not going to place a token. And then I'm going to run my trains. I got 2 trains, but I can only run one route, only from here to here, so I get only 30 bucks. I'm going to pay off. So this is 15 for him. And this guy holds 4, so it's 12 for him. That's definitely not that impressive. But the pen simply doesn't have that jump start quality that the B&O has. And finally, because now there is a share in the bank pool, and if a share is in the bank pool and a dividend is paid, then the corporation treasury gets the money from that would go into from the shares of the bank pool. So they gain $3 in this case, which is not a lot, but you know, it's sometimes that can be pretty valuable to have a few shares in the bank pool, so you have still some constant income without being forced to swallow. And of course, the stock value goes up. I don't think I want to buy a train. At the moment I can only run one train. Even in the next turn I will be only able to run 2 trains. So, well, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it's not that easy. Maybe I could run 3 trains if I place a token here in Baltimore, for example. I could run 1, 2 train and a 3rd one. And if, yeah, that could be an option. So I might actually consider doing that. Yeah. I think I want to buy a 3 train here. So, and finally it's the Chesapeake in Ohio. And of course they're gonna make a connection to here. They're not gonna place a station. They're gonna run the train they have. And that gives them 30 plus 20, 50 bucks. And they're also going to pay off. So that means he's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he gets 30 bucks. And sadly, the rest is lost because there's still 4 shares in the initial offer, but the price goes up 1 space. Okay. I don't think that I want to buy another train at the moment. On the other hand, if I place a tile here, I could run a 3 train like that. It's hard to tell. Maybe I should buy 1. Oh yeah, I also decided to buy a 3 train so that I can make more money in the next turn, otherwise that would be basically lost. Problem is I cannot run my 2 train in the next turn, except when I would place a dot, but I think that would be a waste. So I think I'm only going to run the 3 train in the next turn, and then 1 turn later I could, for example, consider connecting these 2 dots here, and in that way I'd be able to run my 2 train. I don't make a ton of money that way, but it's a start. Okay, and then we come to the next stock round. Okay, so he's got the priority deal, but there's not a lot he can do at the moment. So he doesn't have enough money, and he doesn't want to sell the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. It would just bring down his own stock value. Maybe there's a clever strategy where it actually makes sense. I mean, the thing is, we could do it. Look at that. This is kind of tricky. That's interesting. If we bring it down, it actually wouldn't change the price. Look at that. So what happens if I do it? I mean, I could sell 2, and then I would still be at 67. And then I might consider investing, for example, in the B&O, which makes definitely more money than the C&O. So that seems like it's actually a neat idea, because not a lot of stock value will get lost. I mean, right, there is a little bit when it then goes to the right. I see. The stock price rises slower. Slower. On the other hand, a share of the B&O is definitely tempting. So I think I want that. So I'm going to sell a share of the Chesapeake and Ohio, which brings the stock price down. And I get $67. So I got to pay 33 to buy a share of the B&O. Okay. And actually I can do this maneuver only once, because now I don't have enough money to buy a second share. And in addition to that, I doubt that there will be a share left once everybody is gone, because this is definitely the best railroad. So okay, neat. That's maybe not a bad idea. Now it's this guy, and yeah, I mean, he could also sell a share of the Penn and invest in the B&O. Does he want to do that? Hard to tell. He could also buy a share, and then the stock value of the Penn would rise automatically because all the shares are sold out, which is also an option. So actually, I decided to buy the next share of the pen from the bank pool. So that costs me 82 bucks, and I see I don't have that. I don't know how I got. I thought maybe if I sell one, I have the money to buy share from B&O. Well, then I think I actually want to do it. I'm going to throw another share in here. On the other hand, I don't know. It's a tough choice. Is the B&O that valuable? Well, it looks pretty valuable. So yeah, I think I'm going to sell a share for 82 and pay another 18 to grab the last share of the B&O. Okay. The revenue is just too good. It's kind of sad because now it's pretty sure that this will not rise at the end of the stock round. But still, I think it is the better deal. But you know, I also rolled a die. This is hard to decide in the end. Okay, now it's this guy, and he's got a ton of money already. He's got already, I don't know, 160 or something. So he definitely wants to invest here. And he could buy the 2 shares from the pen, for example, or at least one. And I think that looks like a reasonable option. He doesn't have any money left, or not enough to buy a share. Same thing here. I mean, actually that's not true. He does have quite a bit of money. So, yeah, I think he's gonna buy the remaining share of the pen. Why not? I mean, he just sold it in the last stock round. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that, but you're not allowed to buy a share of a corporation if you already sold a share of the same corporation in the same stock round. So that's kind of a special rule. Another rule that I haven't mentioned yet is you're never allowed to hold more than 60% of a specific corporation, and you cannot sell shares if there are already 50% in the bank pool. So there never more than 50% allowed in the bank pool. In addition to that, the presidency of a corporation has always to remain with one of the players. So if I want to sell the presidency and no other player has at least 20% of that corporation, I cannot sell it, because I cannot give the presidency to another player in that case. These are basically the 4 exceptions when it comes to the stock dealing. Okay. So yeah, this guy did buy a share of the pen. This guy is broke, so he passes. He passes. He has money left. Does he want to invest? Maybe. Can he afford the Chesapeake in Ohio? Yeah, he can. Does he want to? Why not? Makes maybe a little bit of money. And I think he's going to buy it out of the initial offer. He could also buy it out of the pool now, but he's going to buy it out of the initial offer. It's the same amount of money he has to pay. But there is kind of that chance. Or it's actually better for the corporation if a share is in the pool. So yeah, I think that's because that gives the corporation some money. Because I invest in the corporation, I'm interested that the corporation is doing fine, at least for now. Okay. So now this guy is going to pass. And yeah. Well, he's at 50. No, he can't afford it, I'm afraid. No, he's a little short. Not much, but a little. I wonder if it's an idea to sell a share of the pen to buy maybe then 2 shares of the CNO. But I think I don't want to do it. The pen has 3 trains, the CNO only 2. And I think for now the pen is doing better than the CNO. And even these 2 shares, I mean, I will make money this turn, and I can still buy shares of the CNO in the next turn. So I guess I'm fine with that. Okay. So he passes. Pass. So that means the priority deal goes to this guy here. Okay. And now we come to the first operating round, and remember, from now on we have 2 operating rounds between each stock round. So the owner of the B&O is he going to upgrade that one or this one? That gives him more money if he does that. On the other hand, he knows for sure that the other guy will upgrade it. So maybe he will actually upgrade this one and let the other guy do the job. So what we got to do now, if we want to upgrade a tile, as I said, yellow goes to green. And we're going to now look for one of these green tiles here. It has to be a city tile. And what's important is that any route that is any track that is already in the space has to remain. So I cannot place it in any way I want, but I have to place it in a way that the old track remains. So I want to make a connection to this area here, because that gives me then another route. And well, can't do it that way. So I guess I have to do it that way. Exactly. Okay. So we're going to place this thing here now. And you see, this gives now $10 more than it did before. So if we use that, now we can use this 3 times, so we make 30 additional bucks out of this, which is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lay any marker. And by the way, you can see here now, there are now 2 stations possible in there. So if you have you can basically run through this empty station with any kind of railroad corporation. This thing doesn't block you anymore. You can simply run through this now. Only if both are occupied, they block other railroad corporations from running through there. It's also important to see that it's not allowed that there are 2 stations of the same corporation in the same space, in the same tile. So this guy could not block me off by simply placing another marker of his there. Okay, so now he runs his route. He's got 4 trains. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Okay, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and sadly the last one, the 3 train, can only go 2 stations, but still. So that's 60, and 50 is 110, 170, and then we got another 40. So we already have a 210 run. And let's see, this guy has 4 shares, so he's going to pay out, and that gives him then 84 bucks. Pretty impressive. So the pen will now upgrade this tile, and that says B. So I don't know, we might need a special tile for that, or maybe not. There we go. See, we should have placed these suckers actually here. These are the standard tiles. Yeah, okay, that is a special tile. It says here B, and we have B here, so we're going to place it like this. Okay, and I can see now, and that sucks, that I cannot place my own marker there. Wow, that was bad. That was really stupid, because I was hoping to run a route like this. Sadly, I can't do that. That sucks. Oh boy, that was already a pretty big mistake. I should have checked that tile. I was pretty sure that I could have done it, but yeah, it's not possible. Fuck. Even the brown tile, which is the last one, doesn't allow it. Wow, that's painful, man. Kind of ask myself if this is, yeah. Now I'm sitting here with 3 trains, but I can only run 2. That sucks. Because obviously I can go only here and here. Fuck. So do I really want to do it? Hard to tell. Yeah. Oh boy, it's probably still the best I have for now. At least it allows me to make some money. That's a bummer. Okay. Well, okay. Such is life. Should have thought about that earlier. So that means I make 80 bucks. No, that's not true. I can run 2 trains, so that is 30 and that's 60. So I make 90 bucks. And I also will pay out. So that means he gets 45. He gets 9. This guy gets 27, and this guy up there gets also 9. So that was really, I don't know, it seems like a pretty critical mistake. I mean, you can, it's not a bad city, of course, 50 bucks, it's not bad, but now he's sitting here with these 3 trains, and oh man, I mean, I can try to, I don't know what to do actually. I mean, maybe I can make a connection to here, upgrade this somehow, and then place a dot here or something. That seems like a reasonable option. Okay, well, we'll see about that. I mean, the other idea could be to place a marker here, kind of move around like that, you know, and then make a connection to here and place a dot here, so that we can make these runs here in the south. That might be interesting too, and maybe that's... Boy, it's hard to say. Okay, we're gonna see how that works out in the next rounds. So we paid off, the stock market value rises, and then it's the C&O, and they're gonna lay also a tile here, obviously. And I mean, they could run both of their trains if they placed a tile here. Question is, do they want to do that? In the next round, they could run both trains anyway. If they place a tile here, they could do this and that, but it's not quite worth as much. But I only have 2 dots. On the other hand, you might say, if this guy comes up here, I probably have to place a dot here sooner or later anyway. But I don't know. I think for now, I don't want to do it. It doesn't seem to make too much sense. I'm only going to do it on a 1. So no, I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm simply going to run my 3 train and 30, 50, and that's at least $80. That's not so bad. And I'm also going to pay out. I get $40, $8 go into the corporation. This guy will also get $8, and that's pretty much it then. Okay, now we see the second operating round. And I mean, we can obviously already see that the B&O is making a ton of money. And these 2 players love that. They both have 4 shares. But the other players have a problem with that, especially this guy here with the pen. So they are all kind of interested, or these other players are interested in getting rid of the 2 trains, even though that will hurt him a lot. But if this goes on for a long time, these 3 2 trains of the B&O will make a ton of money. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can somehow... I don't know, it's not going to be easy to buy these 2 3 trains and a 4 train. That's tough. Okay, the B&O wants to upgrade this tile here and make a connection to that city. And now remember, because there already is a bridge, we don't have to pay another $80 if we want to upgrade this. But of course the old track has to remain intact. So we can place a tile like that, and this goes back for later use. And by the way, these are limited tracks, you know, so if they are gone, you cannot, you have to somehow free them from somewhere else or so by upgrading, but this is, there is a component limitation here. So I'm not going to place any stations or something, so I'm going to make my run, and it's going to be, let me see, we got 50, 60, 80, wait a minute, that's then 140, yeah, and then we go here, that's another 60, that's 200, so it's 250. Okay, $250, and that means this guy gets a lot of money. $100 for him, and also $100 for him. I mean, we can all be lucky, except for him, of course, that he doesn't have more than 4 shares, because that would make him super powerful then. And these guys all get 25. And of course it's absolutely not in my interest to purchase any trains. I'm more than happy with the situation right now. And it's a pen. Yeah, I mean, they might now consider maybe placing a marker here or laying track like this. And then maybe they can kind of make a circle like that. So, but that doesn't work either. I mean, they can make a little more money like this instead of this, but I cannot run both trains. Yeah, so it's maybe a better idea to go west. On the short run that might be better, but yeah, I don't know. Pen owner is not in a good position. Okay, so he also runs his trains, and he really should not have invested in that second 2 train. It doesn't give him anything. But of course he never, maybe he could have known, but it's hard to see that. Okay, so we have now, again, 30 plus 60 is 90 for him. So Chesapeake and Ohio did place a... Yeah, they did place this guy here, this tile here, and you can see this kind of a special tile. There's a crossing here, and you got these 2 dots. Because there are 2 dots in here, you got to take one of these special tiles. And so now I can run my 2 trains. I can run the 2 train. It gives me 40. Now this gives me only 10, right? So it's 40 here. And then I can run the 3 train. It's another 30, 50, 80. So I'm at 120. That's a solid run. Okay, now, does he want to buy another train? That's a tough decision. Actually, he doesn't really need it. He could place a token here in the next turn and then run all 3 trains. Yeah, that's what he could do. But maybe that's what he should do, actually. The thing is, if these trains don't go away, this guy will make a ton of money. As long as all the 2 trains can remain out, he makes a lot of money with his 3 2 trains. So to stop him, we somehow have to manage, or to stop these 2 guys, let's say it that way, they both hold 40%. So to stop them, we somehow have to manage to get rid of these to get rid of these 3 trains and 1 4 train. But the 2 companies simply don't allow us to do that. We don't have enough money to do it. And also the train limit might be a problem. Yeah, and it could be possible, I guess. Yeah, we could do it. The train limit is not the issue. But the problem is that this corporation has only little money in the treasury. They only started with 67. So they got to be very careful what they're doing with their trains. In addition to all of this guy is a pretty cautious player. So I'm going to roll a die and only on a 1 or 2. I'm going to buy a train. So I'm not going to do it. Okay. Well, fine. So this goes up, and that is then... Did I already pay out? Yeah, I think I did. But I didn't pay out for the Chesapeake and Ohio, for the railroad, I guess. Okay, so now we're done with our second operating round. So we come now to the next stock round, and because there were 2 operating rounds and also more better runs were involved, there is quite a bit of money now amongst the players. Some of these guys have more than 200 bucks. So, you know, especially for these guys, for the ones that want to get rid of these 3 trains, there is now the option to say, hey, maybe we can work together and float a new company. And then maybe we can buy these trains. Sooner or later that has to happen, otherwise this guy will completely run away, and of course this guy. Okay, but for now I'm going to load this up and see you again in the next video. Yeah, bye.